In the highest-stakes world of Formula One, there are big names, and then there's Max Verstappen. We're going to dive into the story of how a young kid, basically born into a racing suit, didn't just join Formula One. He took over and completely rewrote the record books.
I mean, when you think of F1 today, this is probably the face that pops into your head, right? He's the guy who just embodies that raw, aggressive talent and a level of dominance that's really defined this entire era of the sport.
Okay, let's just start with a number, because it says so much. 71 Grand Prix wins. To give you some perspective, that number puts you in the same breath as the absolute all-time greats of the sport. This isn't just a number, it's the headline of an incredible story of success.
But here's the thing. It was anything but a smooth ride to the top. His journey was a total trial by fire. We're talking mind-blowing speed, a ton of controversy, and the kind of pressure that would have crushed most drivers. So how did the prodigy actually become a legend?
To really get Max Verstappen, you have to go all the way back to the beginning. Because for him, racing isn't just a job. It's literally the family business.
I mean, just look at this racing DNA. His dad, Joss, was a Formula One driver. His mom, Sophie, was a champion kart racer herself. Even his cousin is a NASCAR champ. This wasn't just a family that supported him. It was like a high-performance lab designed to create a future world champion from day one.
And, you know, it paid off almost immediately. He was winning championships at just 7 years old. But the real signal, the moment everyone in motorsports sat up and took notice, was at age 15. He did the nearly impossible. He won the two biggest European karting titles and the World Championship, all in the same season.
So after basically conquering the entire karting world, his jump to actual race cars wasn't just fast. It was a leap that pretty much nobody had ever seen before.
Look at this timeline. This is where things get just insane. In 2013, he's the karting world champion. Just 1 year later, he's in Formula 3 and wins 10 races as a rookie. And then by 2015, he skips all the usual next steps and jumps straight into a Formula One seat. That kind of progression just doesn't happen.
He made his Formula One debut at 17 years and 166 days old. He didn't just break the record for the youngest F1 driver, he absolutely obliterated it by almost 2 full years. It was so out there, the sports rulemakers had to create a minimum age limit right after, which basically means that record of his can never be broken.
But, and this is a big but, that talent came with a really sharp edge. His first season was full of these flashes of genius-level speed, but also some huge mistakes. There was this massive crash in Monaco that got some of the veteran drivers calling him dangerous, and that really set the tone for his early career. This constant tug-of-war between undeniable talent and, well, raw, aggressive controversy.
You can't keep that kind of performance in a junior team for long. It wasn't long before he got the call up to the main Red Bull racing team, where the pressure and the stakes were about to go through the roof.
And what happens next is just the stuff of legend. Seriously, you couldn't write this. In his very first race for the senior Red Bull team at the Spanish Grand Prix in 2016, he won, just like that. At 18 years old, he became the youngest driver to ever win a Formula One race. It was a fairy tale moment that sent shockwaves through the whole sport.
You'd think that incredible win would silence the critics, right? Nope, not at all. His super aggressive driving continued to get under his rival's skin. After one really intense battle, the world champion Kimi Räikkönen dropped this pretty chilling quote, and it perfectly captured how a lot of drivers felt, that Max was just pushing way too far.
So something had to change. The next few years were basically him learning in public how to tame that aggression. The start of the 2018 season was a real low point, with a string of crashes that even got his own team calling him out. But this was the turning point. This intense pressure forced him to mature, to learn how to turn that aggression into the ruthlessly consistent weapon that would eventually win him championships.
So after being forged in the fire of competition, Verstappen and Red Bull finally had a car that could match his refined talent, and the result was an era of just pure dominance. His first crown came in 2021, and it was epic. After one of the most intense, season-long fights in F1 history against a 7-time champ, Lewis Hamilton, it all came down to the very last lap of the very last race. In a moment of pure sporting drama, Verstappen grabbed his chance and became the first Dutch Formula One world champion.
But winning one title clearly wasn't enough. It's like he unlocked a new level. The seasons that followed were just statistical devastation. Just look at 2023. 19 wins, 21 podiums. These aren't just new records. These numbers completely rewrote what a dominant season even looks like in Formula One.
And if you want a single stat that shows what that relentless momentum was like, here it is. 10. 10 Grand Prix wins in a row. That just shows a level of harmony between a driver and a team that for a long time was simply unbeatable. Every weekend, they were the ones to beat.
So when you put the whole resume together, it's just staggering. 4 world championships in a row, massive win and podium counts, and of course those records he set at the very beginning that he still holds. Youngest to start a race, youngest to score points, and youngest to win a race. He's not just a champion, he's a statistical giant.
So, what does it all add up to? What's his legacy going to be? Well, it's more than just trophies on a shelf. It's about how he fundamentally changed the sport he walked into as a teenager.
His career arc really tells the whole story, doesn't it? He showed up as the most exciting and controversial teenage phenom the sport had ever seen, and then he matured into this dominant, 4-time world champion right in front of all of us. It's just been a journey of incredible speed and unbelievable success.
And his impact is clear. His driving style literally forced the sport to clarify its rules. He, of course, broke a ton of records. And by becoming the first Dutch champion, he created this massive, passionate fan base, the Orange Army, that follows him all over the world.
Look, he's already cemented his place as one of the all-time greats. That's a done deal. The only question that's left is, how much further can he go? With years still ahead of him, his final chapter hasn't even been written yet, and we are all going to be watching.